They were not thrill seekers, not ghost hunters, and not paranormal YouTubers. They were normal adults trying to escape normal life for a weekend. Aaron, the quiet thinker. Marla, who hid every fear behind sarcasm. Jonas, always acting brave but shaking inside. And Elise, who had recently stopped speaking after her brother's unexplained disappearance a month earlier. No one talked about it, but everyone felt she shouldn't have come. Their plan was simple, a 3-day camping trip inside Hawthorne National Forest, North Carolina, a place known for beautiful waterfalls, black moss valleys, and naturally strange temperature drops. The online photos looked peaceful, untouched, almost holy. The road to it, however, was missing turns that should have existed. Their GPS glitched, rerouting them deeper into woods that didn't match any map. Every tree looked older than the last, bark twisted like veins around hollow mouths. They finally found a narrow dirt road with no signs, but their phones all lost signal at the exact same second. It didn't even fade. It cut out, like someone switched it off. Jonas joked that it felt like the woods swallowed the signal. No one laughed. 15 minutes later, the road ended abruptly on a clearing with perfect circle edges, as though carved intentionally. There were no bird sounds, no insects, no breeze, only a thick, human-like breathing silence. Something invisible watched, heavier than eyes, heavier than memory. Elise pointed at something half-buried near a stump, a rotting leather journal with dried fingerprints burned into its cover. The pages inside were torn, stained, and written by different hands, large, small, sharp, trembling. Some lines were readable. "We entered to escape life, but here life escapes you. Do not follow the voices calling your name. It doesn't kill, it replaces. Don't look at its shadow, it has none." Then the final page, written shakily with dried brown streaks. "The cursed forest doesn't trap bodies first, it traps choices." Marla threw the book down, calling it a prank left by campers, but Aaron wasn't so sure. He noticed something. The dirt road they entered from was gone. No tracks. No tracks. No opening, no direction to exit. There were no wind sounds, no footsteps except their own, and the air suddenly tasted like wet metal. Then, somewhere deep behind the trees, a distant voice whispered, "More. Finally, more." And Elise, the one who hadn't spoken in a month, quietly answered, "I remember that voice." The group stood frozen, unsure whether Elise had spoken out of shock, memory, or something darker. Her voice was dry, flat, almost borrowed, like someone else had used her throat. Jonas tried to laugh it off, but his chuckle cracked halfway. Aaron scanned the tree line. Every trunk looked the same height, same thickness, same distance apart, like a repeating pattern printed endlessly. There was no natural chaos. Nature was never that perfect. Night came too fast. One moment daylight, the next a sharp twilight like someone slammed down a switch. They hurried to set up camp in the clearing's center, where they could see everything. A fire struggled to catch flame, burning only with a soft orange glow that never grew. It was like the air refused fire. Jonas muttered, "This doesn't make sense," for the first of many times. Marla whispered, "Why is it so quiet?" Aaron answered, "Because something bigger than us wants to hear us first." They agreed to take turns staying awake through the night, but the forest made that decision irrelevant. No one could sleep. Their bodies felt heavy, but their minds stayed painfully alert. A pressure settled in, like invisible hands pushing gently against their skulls, trying to open something that shouldn't open. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time moved strangely, slow and fast at once. Then it began. They each heard different voices coming from inside the forest, but they all reacted at the same time. Jonas heard his mother crying. Marla heard someone whispering her deepest insecurity. Aaron heard military commands, sharp and suffocating, like the world wanted him to relive everything. But Elise, she didn't just hear, she answered back softly, as if continuing a conversation already in progress. Aaron grabbed her shoulder sharply. "Elise, who are you talking to?" She blinked slowly, unfocused. "He says we were chosen because we don't know how to leave ourselves." They stared at her, confused and terrified. Jonas snapped, "Who is he?" Elise turned her head very slowly, eyes reflecting the pale firelight like animal glass. "The one who eats what people don't see. At that exact moment, they heard footsteps circling them, but not on leaves, not on soil. It sounded like footsteps on wood, like someone walking on floorboards built inside the forest. The step pattern was slow, confident, familiar, like whoever it was had already claimed victory. Marla screamed when she saw something. The trees were now closer than before. They hadn't moved. They hadn't moved. The forest had. The trees closing in didn't happen with sound or motion. It was like a frame of reality had been replaced while they blinked. Aaron stepped forward and stretched his hand to a trunk he swore had been at least 20 feet away minutes ago. His fingertips shook as he touched the bark. It was warm, like touching human skin that had been sweating. He pulled his hand away fast, breathing hard. Jonas cursed under his breath. "We move, now. Any direction. Staying is worse." They grabbed their bags and walked quickly, trying not to run. But after only a few minutes, no matter which direction they chose, they returned to the same clearing, same fire, same journal on the ground. Except now, a new message appeared across its leather cover, carved with something sharp and messy. "One must be given." Marla backed away, hands trembling. "A given to what?" Elise whispered. "It's not asking, it's reminding." Then, without warning, Jonas turned his head sharply toward the darkness between two trees. His expression became empty, almost peaceful. The others didn't hear anything, but Jonas clearly did. He slowly stepped toward the trees, whispering, "I hear her. She's waiting." They grabbed him, but he dragged them like he suddenly weighed twice as much. "Jonas, no!" Aaron shouted, digging heels into the soil. Jonas's voice grew calmer. "She didn't die. She didn't leave me. She's calling me home. She's calling me home." The space between the trees opened wider, but not like branches moving, like reality unzipping into a deeper black, darker than night, darker than closed eyes. It had depth but no shape. A faint sobbing echoed, a woman's cry, familiar to Jonas only. Aaron tackled him, but Jonas turned violently, his eyes full of tears, not fear, but relief. A let go. "I know her voice. I know it." Then something long, thin, pale gray reached out from the darkness. Not a hand, not a branch, something boneless yet intentional, and wrapped gently around Jonas's wrist. His scream was cut short, not because of pain, but like the sound couldn't exist in that moment. He was dragged inside with terrifying speed, and the gap sealed silently, leaving no mark. He was gone. Marla fell to her knees, sobbing into dirt that felt warmer now, like the ground had just eaten. Elise looked toward the trees and whispered something that made Aaron's blood freeze. "There are 3 left. That's enough for it to finish." Aaron grabbed her shoulders. "How do you know that?" She stared forward, unblinking, voice monotone and hollow. "Because my brother was the first group. Aaron stared at Elise like she had just confessed to murder. His voice cracked. "You knew this place was real. You knew what happened to your brother?" She didn't nod, didn't shake her head. Her silence was worse than either answer. Marla backed away from Elise slowly, like she was a human grenade waiting to detonate. The wind finally blew, but only for Elise, her hair lifting as if something was breathing beside her, unseen. Aaron forced himself to think. "You keep talking like we're already dead. We're not. We fight. We keep moving, no matter what." But just saying it felt empty. Empty. The forest didn't respond like an environment. It responded like a listener, absorbing every intention and reshaping reality around it. Elise finally spoke, her voice lower than normal, almost narrated. "My brother's group entered for fun," they joked. "They filmed themselves. They never found bodies. They never leave bodies. The forest doesn't want death. It wants replacements." Aaron swallowed. "Replacements for what?" Elise looked up slowly, eyes unfocused. "For the ones who escaped before." Marla snapped. "Nobody escaped, Elise. Don't you understand? This place is a trap." Elise's reply was calm and terrifying. "Someone escaped long ago. Someone that made the curse hungry." The fire suddenly flickered high as if fed oxygen from unseen mouths. The trees surrounding them widened their gaps for just a moment, showing something tall, standing between the trunks. It wasn't human, it wasn't animal, it was a shape, a vertical smear like smoke trying to become physical. No features, no eyes, no face, yet unmistakably aware. Marla gasped and covered her ears, screaming, "It's in my head, it's in my head." Her scream cut off as she fell limp, eyes open but mind absent as if someone unplugged her from herself. She didn't die. Not yet. She just emptied. Aaron knelt beside her, shaking her shoulders. Marla, Marla, look at me. Her eyes blinked but slowly, like a puppet's half-charged battery. She whispered faintly. It's choosing who it wants and who it needs. Then Elise walked up to Marla and gently touched her forehead, almost lovingly. She's not dead. She's only being read, Elise said. Aaron snapped. Stop talking like you're part of it. And Elise turned to him with a slight, unnatural smile. I'm not part of it, Aaron. She leaned close, breath cold. I'm returning to it. And then they both heard footsteps approaching from behind Marla's eyes. Aaron backed away from Elise and Marla, heart pounding so violently he felt it in his teeth. The forest temperature dropped again, but this time, not like natural cold. More like the heat was pulled out, drained, stolen. Drained, stolen. Every breath felt like inhaling invisible glass dust. He grabbed a broken branch, not as a weapon, but as something human to hold on to, anything real. Elise stopped moving, posture straight and unnatural, staring into the trees as if receiving silent instructions. Her pupils widened until almost no white remained. Aaron whispered desperately, Elise, please, come back. You're not gone yet. She blinked slowly and whispered, it doesn't want my body. It wants my memories. My life story, my identity, my entire self. Aaron shook his head. Why? What does a forest do with memories? Her answer came like a spoken prophecy. This place was built on confessions never spoken, fears never admitted, and guilt people buried instead of facing. When enough of that collects in one place, it becomes alive. A sound burst behind them, like wood splintering from the inside out. The shape in the trees grew clearer. It wasn't smoke anymore, but something with limbs too long, skin too thin, no face and voices whispering inside its chest cavity, like dozens of people trapped beneath its ribs. Marla suddenly gasped, body jerking like a defibrillator hit her. Her eyes rolled forward, but her voice wasn't hers. It layered with 3, 4, maybe 6 tones overlapping. Aaron, she called, but it wasn't a call, it was a summons. You carry the strongest guilt. You will stay the longest. Aaron trembled. Oh, Aaron trembled. I didn't come here guilty. Marla's possessed voice hissed, you didn't have to come. Guilt always brings itself. And the forest answered. A deep rumble pulsed beneath the soil, like an enormous machine powering on underground. Tree roots began crawling across the ground, slow but intentional, like veins searching for flesh. Something grabbed Aaron's ankle, not tightly, just enough to warn. There is no negotiation. Elise turned to face him, eyes now calm, expression peaceful as if accepting an inevitable truth. There is only one exit, Aaron, she whispered. Someone must replace the hunger. Someone must stay thinking forever. Aaron asked with a shaking voice, stay thinking? Elise nodded. It doesn't feed on death. It feeds on consciousness trapped without escape, forever awake. The ground beneath Marla cracked open like a breathing mouth, and something inside it whispered Aaron's full name. Aaron stumbled backward as the ground beneath Marla pulsed like a living heart, glowing faintly with a sickly amber light. Voices, thousands layered together, echoed from below, pleading, bargaining, screaming, thinking. Their words didn't form sentences, but the emotional weight was unmistakable. They were still conscious in whatever was beneath. Marla's body shifted unnaturally, as if something inside her was rearranging bones without breaking them. She raised her head, although it wasn't truly her anymore. Her mouth moved, but the voice wasn't human. It was collective, deep and ancient. Decide, Aaron Maddox. You enter, or she finishes opening. He froze. Maddox. He hadn't told anyone his last name. Jonas didn't know it when he died. Marla didn't know it when she broke. Elise. She barely spoke at all. The forest wasn't just reading minds. It was accessing identity like a password. Aaron raised the branch, shaking uncontrollably. You don't get to choose my fate, he whispered, though his voice cracked under terror. Elise stepped closer, eyes hollow yet strangely compassionate, like someone who had already accepted eternal suffering and wanted to help someone else avoid it. Aaron, listen carefully, she said, voice steady and unnervingly rational. There are 2 ways the curse continues. One, someone is taken willingly, fully aware, fully conscious, and becomes the next mind pillar of the forest. 2. Someone is taken by force, which causes the forest to expand, grow, and eventually reach beyond these trees. Aaron's stomach twisted. If he refused, the curse would spread to others. Maybe towns, maybe highways, maybe homes. If he accepted, he would stay awake forever, trapped between thought and oblivion, aware but never alive. Elise whispered, tears forming for the first time. My brother didn't choose. The forest grew because of him. I came to stop it. Suddenly she grabbed Aaron's hands and placed them against her chest over her heart. You're stronger than me. You'd survive centuries. I won't. Let me replace the hunger. Aaron tried to pull away, shaking his head. No, I'm not letting another person. But Elise smiled, a true human smile, small, broken, brave. You didn't bring us here, Aaron. I did. Before he could react, she stepped backwards into the cracking earth, letting it swallow her whole like warm liquid tar. Her final words weren't screamed. They were gifted. Close the curse. Don't come back. The ground sealed. The trees relaxed. The whispering stopped. Aaron walked out hours later, found on a roadside, dehydrated, silent, forever changed. Years passed. The forest is still there, smaller now, quiet. Until someone new goes missing, following a road that isn't on any map. And tonight, another road just appeared. Would you enter?